Now, how many times have you been to a bar with a very danceable live band playing, only to find the ones dancing are the women? My partner and I love to go out dancing most weekends, and we typically find that we are the only couple actually dancing. And the situation is always the same. Lots of guys standing around trying to look and act cool as they steal glances of the women in the room. Meanwhile, the women are sending so many signals that they want to dance that you'd have to be blind to miss them. Yet, there they are, just like in grammar school. Boys on one side of the room, girls on the other, with a very obvious vacant neutral zone in between. Whether in a bar, coffee shop, park, or just strolling downtown, this scenario is played out in every city and town on the planet, so clearly demonstrating the crippling power of approach anxiety. Approach anxiety is near the top of the list of fears dealing with relationships. Fortunately, there is a way to eliminate it forever and, in fact, use its very energy to help you authentically meet anyone you want, perhaps even the one. The biggest source of this paralyzing anxiety is being so attached to the outcome of approaching someone you find interesting. When we place so much importance on whether the other person will react favorably to our advances, it only inhibits our willingness to take the simple action of starting a conversation that may or may not actually lead to something for the both of you. Now imagine for a moment what your life would be like if you were totally committed to meeting new people, but without being attached to the outcome. The very thought of it is extremely freeing, isn't it? So, how does one let go of attachment to the outcome? The key to that is just one simple 4-letter word: next. Here's the thing. You can't control how anyone will react to you, no matter how you show up. So it's really not up to you, nor are you to blame if someone you approach elects to not reciprocate your interest. If that happens, don't take it personally, because it never is. By definition, they don't even know you. And just say next to yourself. Now, just make sure they don't overhear you, otherwise you could risk a pretty good slap in the face. On the surface, this may sound like something right out of a pickup artist manual, but it really isn't. This is merely to prepare you for the real work of getting ready to meet the right person for you. People who are painfully shy or bull in the china shop aggressive are actually exhibiting two sides of the same coin: reactive, fear-based behavior rather than being appropriately authentic and proactive. Which one is predominantly manifested during an approach to meeting someone new is often culturally determined. For example, a few years ago, I spent 3 months in Brazil, and there the prevalent machismo attitude held by most men is actually a good example of the aggressive side. Early in my college years, I had a great deal of trouble relating to people. Sometimes I was very shy and inhibited. Other times I overcompensated by being aggressive. Neither one was effective at helping me form new relationships that had any chance of lasting. Then I took an assertiveness class. Thanks to that invaluable training and insight, I realized that shyness and aggressive behavior were both fear-based responses to social anxiety. And the key to overcoming this seemingly huge and very frustrating problem was simply to be myself. This means showing up authentically and vulnerably and not being attached to how others thought about me. Consider for a moment taking the following position when daring to meet someone new. If the other person is not attracted to the real you, then they are simply not the right person to be with. Think of it as the universe doing you a big favor by not letting you get involved with someone who, in all likelihood, is not good to be in your life. You will probably never completely eliminate the butterflies that flit around in your stomach as you approach someone new. Ideally, though, you don't want them to go away, but instead have them fly in formation. This is a way of taking the charge associated with approach anxiety and using it in your favor. Energy is energy. It can be used to stop you dead in your tracks or give an extra spring to your steps. In addition to inspiring huge amounts of confidence in yourself, it is also a quality in which people find almost universally attractive. Also, keep in mind that your best relationships may not come from the direct approach. You may end up meeting someone in an unexpected way or place. While you may feel more in control by always being proactive, don't discount serendipity. This means, of course, showing up authentically and vulnerably in all situations, not just those in which you hope to meet someone. This is exactly how I happened to meet my life partner, at a time and place where meeting someone special was actually quite far from my mind. Yet it happened. Think of it this way. All the preparation you make for meeting someone new will position you perfectly for meeting someone in the most unlikely situations as well. Now I want you to think about the scariest thing of all. Your last moments on this planet. Invariably, the biggest regret people have at the end of their life is typically not something they did and wish they hadn't. It is the regret of not doing something they wish they had. When it comes to meeting significant people in your life, there is absolutely no reason to die with this regret on your lips. You have total control over how you show up and whether or not you take things personally. Fears can either be our greatest teacher or our most brutal prison guard. You and only you get to choose its role in your life. And that choice will directly determine the quality and possibilities of the relationships you have. So next time you're in a position to meet someone new you find interesting, throw caution to the wind and approach him or her authentically and vulnerably and see what happens. You may be pleasantly surprised.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Extraordinary Intimacy with Michael J. Russell. For all speaking, media interviews, and workshop inquiries, go to michaelrusselllive.com. For private intimacy coaching, send an email to coaching@michaelrusselllive.com.